Breaking now at 11, nearly 11 months of debate has ended. Duval County school leaders have voted to change the names of 6 out of 9 schools, those 6 branded after Confederate leaders.
Yeah, this is a live look at the school board headquarters where the vote went down. Before the meeting began, Dr. Diana Green, the superintendent, she said whatever decision came, it should not impact the education of students.
Each day that administrators and teachers go to their workplace, their place of work, whatever the name of that school is, their job is to move beyond that and ensure that we offer our students a high quality education.
Before tonight's final vote, board members took input from the community, and we've seen them. There have been public debates, protests even, that led up to this point.
We've been hearing from people on both sides, the discussion even getting national attention. News4Jax reporter Joe McLean was sitting inside the board meeting tonight. He's joining us live. Joe, we tried to ask you this before that impromptu news conference there. What was the atmosphere like inside?
Both inside the school board meeting chambers and outside before the meeting, there was that same tense morale that was enveloping this whole area. There were 2 dueling demonstrations, of course, on either side of this controversial decision to rename these schools, and inside the meeting as well. 60 people signed up to speak ahead of those board decisions, but the board decisions did come down after some discussion, and here are the results as we reported in the last hour. The board voted to rename 6 of the schools. Joseph Finnegan Elementary School will be renamed Anchor Academy. Stonewall Jackson Elementary will be renamed Hidden Oaks Elementary School. Jeb Stewart Middle is going to be rebranded to West Side Middle School. Jefferson Davis Middle School will now be named Charger Academy, will be renamed. Kirby Smith Middle School will be renamed Springfield Middle School. And of course, the big one that drew so much community interest, Robert E. Lee High School will be renamed Riverside High School. Those changes are going to take place August 3rd. So they're not immediate. They're going to take place August 3rd, according to the recommendations. Of course, those other 3 schools, John Ribault Middle School, John Ribault High School, and Andrew Jackson High School, the board sided with Green's recommendations, the superintendent's recommendations, to keep those names. So those names won't be changing. And this has been a long process, as we've seen, a months-long process. I asked Superintendent Diana Green about her feelings about this process and the historic nature of this consequential decision by the board. Take a listen.
It represents a huge change moving forward. As Ms. Anderson said, 12 schools named after, and half of them were all in one community. And to do it at one time definitely was a monumental task. And I just want to thank, again, the board, the school district committee that worked with the SAC to move the process forward. As I stated earlier, it was a bumpy road, but we got to our destination. The community was allowed to give input. We focused on our students, ensuring that whatever decision was made, that we all really had solid ground to stand behind the decision to change those names.
And both the superintendent and the chairwoman Anderson thanked those who opposed their recommendations. Of course, this has been a contentious issue. As you can see from this video we shot earlier tonight, those protests were loud, they were passionate, they were on obviously on opposite sides. So many groups coming forward to call for these names to be changed, so many opposing them. Many alumni said these names were near and dear to their heart. They said there was a lot of memories associated with them. We asked some of them how they felt about this decision. They said, obviously, incredibly disappointed. They cited problems that they had with how the district took community input. But of course, now it comes down to how this is going to be funded. We have a lot of information about where the money is coming from. That was a big source of the discussion tonight. And of course, a big part of that is fundraising. An announcement that Dr. Green made in just the last hour, we brought it to you live in our 10 o'clock news. She said the Jacksonville Jaguars are getting involved. Nike, the corporation, is getting involved in donating, funding some of these school uniforms for those middle and high schools. That's a big part of the cost of renaming these schools. So we know there's some significant donations there. There's going to be more efforts to solicit more community donations, but that, they say, is going to take care of a large part of funding these the renaming of these 6 schools. We have all this information for you on our website, news4jax.com. Reporting live on the South Bank, Joe McLean, Channel 4, the local station.